You have big dreams of losing weight and creating a healthy, joyful life. But you find yourself craving sugar, caught up in what the scale says, and diet hopping. Dieting is the old way of losing weight. And the good news is I'm going to give you a new way of eating so you can ditch diets for good and build a healthy relationship with real food. My name is Megan Olson, certified nutrition practitioner, creator of Skinny Fitalicious, and your host of the Dish on Diets show.
Hello, friends. My client Patty is on the podcast today. Patty had been dieting 30 years before she came to work with me and never lost more than 5 pounds in the 30 years that she had been dieting. And she had a ton of food noise from all these different diets she had been doing. At 59, she had food noise and her weight was going up and up and up, and she knew she just had to do something about this. And she also realized that all these different diets she had been doing for 30 years were just keeping her stuck in a loop of being a chronic dieter. And they were all just marketing schemes set up to keep her in this loop of constant dieting, but never actually reaching her goals and knowing exactly what she needed to focus on. Today, Patty is going to share with you not only how she's lost 18 pounds and she's still going strong, but what she has learned that the diet industry doesn't want you to know. And some of the other things that she's learned in this journey, like the importance of being honest with yourself, the importance of making choices, the importance of having a different mindset, the importance of tuning out people on social media. She's going to talk to you about all these different things she learned in her journey that have helped her, and I hope they help you. Hi, Patty. Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here today.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, some of your background, whatever you feel comfortable sharing with them.
Oh, okay. Well, I am a 59-year-old stay-at-home mom. I live in Northern California, and I've been trying to lose weight for 30 years.
30 years. Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about the 30 years and what are some of the things you tried?
Okay. I made a list last night. It was kind of funny. I was up at midnight and I was like,
oh
yeah,
my
what
God.
about that one? Oh yeah, and that one. So I never had a problem with my weight, until I was, I'm going to say 28. And I before 28, I had a job where I didn't drive a lot, and I lived in the really hilly part of San Francisco, and I walked a lot. I walked every single day, that kind of stuff. And then I got this really crappy job, and I would soothe myself after work. I had, back in the day, they made Snicker Snackers, not the fun size, but the little ones. And I had I had a bag in the, I had a bag in the freezer. And when I came home from work, I would eat my feelings, and that's kind of still what I was realizing I was doing, up until like you. I was like, I'm eating my feelings and I know I'm eating my feelings. And
Right.
so I started dieting, and I made a list last night. Let me bring them up. And some of them I couldn't remember. I mean, because remember, like at 59, I've seen it all. Like, I don't know if have you ever seen that comedian Leanne Ellington, and she talks about how she and her sisters did Dexatrim.
Yeah.
I never did pills. I never took anything. I never did like anything that I had to ingest, but my mind was always looking for like ways to manage the food and like, that kind of stuff. And of course, Oprah. I was raised on Oprah, and I watched her, her weight go up and down, up and down, up and down. And so some of the diets that I've tried, obviously Weight Watchers, and the Weight Watchers confuse the hell out of me because you got points, but the points seem to only come from like the fat that you ate. So you could eat candy that was 200 calories and it would be 0 points. It was bizarre. I did the celery juice diet. I did Whole30. All of these lasted maybe 2 weeks because Whole30 is really
Real
hard.
strict. Yeah.
Really, really strict. The no sugar, no flour, eat to win. That's like from the 70s. The McDougall diet. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't heard of that.
the McDougal diet was really big in my area, especially because he was from Santa Rosa, and you could walk into a restaurant and order the McDougal, like brand of whatever. He was it was veganism, like he didn't eat meat at all, and he sold lots of books. And I had a whole tape set. He sold this cassette tape thing. You could listen to the tapes, and he would talk about food. And
Wow.
I couldn't remember the name of the diet last night, so I was Googling it, and I found out he died at 77.
Ooh.
Um, so I was like, that's interesting. Course keto, couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand not eating fruit. I hated keto. Um, I had a neighbor that she's since passed away, but we would talk about diets on our walk, and she talked about the Dukan diet, and the Dukan diet became popular when William married Kate Middleton because that's the diet her mom did. It's
Oh
like
my gosh.
I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I've tried so many different things. This is frightening. So, yeah, yeah. Fasting, I
Mm.
tried the fasting business, and it's just not, I remember being on my, like doing my fasting thing, and then my friend's dad died, and we went to the funeral. And it was like this, it was a family style funeral. Everybody sits down and eats at the same time, and you're served like this 7 course meal, and you don't get to choose. It's like it comes out course after course after course. And the whole time I'm at the funeral, I'm thinking, I'm blowing my fasting diet. Like instead of being like, you're at your friend's dad's funeral, like knock it off, the just the noise in my head, it just over the 30
Mhm.
years, it just got louder and louder and louder and
Yeah,
louder.
food noise, yeah, from dieting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And none of the diets I ever lost more than 5 pounds, and it never stayed off permanently, um, because the diets were unsustainable for regular life.
Do you
Just
think
totally.
you realized that they were unsustainable at the time, or do you think looking back now you realize it?
Looking back now, I realize it. Like but I think I was unconsciously like, this isn't work. I can't do this for like, this is
Mhm.
not sustainable. This is just not sustainable. Like you can't just go to a restaurant and like what, like, so you're on the McDougal diet around here and you go to the restaurant and they don't have anything McDougal on the menu. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
everything stops, you know what I mean? And it's like, I have no, like, you just feel totally out of control and, at the mercy of, and,
And it's so complicated. Like it's overly complicated. Like, here's my fasting window. Here's the things I can't eat. Here's the things, here's the points. It's like that is so complicated. Why are we making it so complicated?
so complicated that every time you start a new diet, you have to like clean out your pantry and prepare. And it's like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I spent a lot of time. Um, I'm going to say I spent a lot of time trying to do what the collective was doing because that's what I was thinking about last night. You notice like what these diets are really about is this groundswell. It's not about the diet, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it really isn't. It's about this groundswell, and you're in this community, and everybody's talking about it, and that's how you're connecting to people. And I kept thinking last night, I'm like, God, a lot of the conversations that like my friend that I used to walk with every day, that's what we talked about, diets.
Mhm.
And she did keto, and I'd be like, I'm not doing keto. I can't stand keto. I cannot stand not eating fruit. There's something wrong with that. Just the mind, the time, the brain time, the
Yep.
attention that has gone to all these different diets, which last night I could look at them and go, they're all marketing.
Yeah, it's all
It's
marketing.
all marketing
And
to
mostly
sell
to
us something.
women, mostly to women.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And that's when I realized I was like, oh, the minute I was like, you know what, I'm just going to be alone and be by myself and do this with Megan, it was so freeing because I was like, I don't have to answer to the collective anymore. When they start talking about it, I can leave the room. I've got my like little secret here and I'm doing my own little secret thing and I don't need to tell anybody about it.
Little secret.
Really, that's what it was like to me because I kind of was like, okay, you guys are still searching. I'm done searching.
I
Because
remember there
that's what
was, I remember there was a time where we were coaching and you were like, Megan, I went to lunch with all of my girlfriends and they were all doing these weird things with food. And it just dawned on me, I'm not doing that, but they are. And it's so weird.
It was very weird. And one of the things that we talked about was, you always said, keep your eyes on your own paper. And
Hmm.
I've had, when I started working with you, I told my husband and my son, obviously, because I was like, I'm going to be weighing my food now. And my husband was like, okay. And then some of my girlfriends that I didn't think would come back with like an eye roll, or like I was like, well, I'm counting my calories and I'm weighing my food, so I'm trying to raise my awareness and I'm tracking everything. And you would see the eye roll, but the eye roll was accompanied with them like drinking wine, like you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
And I'd be
yeah.
like, okay. And I really learned in this whole process, keep your mouth shut, don't tell anybody what you're doing. And if somebody starts talking about what they're doing, just be like, okay, don't have an
Hmm.
opinion, don't engage, because I was like, I'm not opening up this door for you to talk to me about what I'm doing. I'm not interested in your opinion at all.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Everybody seems to have an opinion about nutrition and what diet you should do and how you should lose weight and what's true and false about weight loss. And it's kind of crazy to me because when you talk to somebody about their calorie intake, they're like, no, that doesn't work. And I'm like, do you go to your mechanic and your mechanic says your car needs to have these three things fixed? Do you tell your mechanic they're wrong? No, nobody does that. Nobody's a
Hmm.
mechanic, but everybody seems to be an expert in weight loss.
Right. Because it's taken up so much of the information that we
Yeah,
absorb every day.
yeah.
The first thing I did when I started working with you is I went to every single Instagram account and unfollowed any kind of the Galveston diet, all of it. Goodbye. Like, no,
Mhm.
I'm not following anything at all that has to do with nutrition or losing weight.
Yep. There's so many of those, even doctors included, who are just scamming women, and it's marketing. That's what you nailed the hit. They figured out women are desperate to lose weight. Women are desperate for quick solutions, and they are marketing to women, and they're making a ton of money doing it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really sad, honestly, because the simple stuff
Mm-hmm.
does work. So that said, let's talk a little bit.
Yes.
How did you find me?
Oh, you want to hear that? So, this is a funny. So, I'm in this. I use Facebook just for groups. I don't really post a lot. I just want to get information from like. So I was in this comedian. I was following this comedian, and so she had a group. And in the group comments, somebody said, "Oh, you guys should go follow Skinny Fitalicious. She's got a juicy story." And it was your story of your ex. And
Hmm.
so I followed you and I was listening to your stories of your ex. And then I was kind of like, oh, she does weight loss consulting. Hmm. Who does that? Like, like it's slowly in my head. And then I remember being with my husband. We were up at the coast and he was watching TV and we never like to watch the same shows. So I was like, I'm gonna check out this Megan because I had this epiphany. I was about to turn 58
Hmm.
and I thought I'm going to be 60 in 2 years. And I've literally been trying to lose weight for 30 years. And it's never worked. Like it might go down 5 pounds, but it comes right back up. And if it went down, it didn't stay down. And all of the diets, every single one of them was unsustainable. I don't care whose it was, they're unsustainable. And I just kind of had this like awakening of like, if you want to lose weight, Patty, you have to do something different. You can't do what you've been doing for 30 years. You can't
Mm.
go like, you can't wait for the next marketing gimmick to come past your face. You need to do something different and you need to make a different choice. And you were talking and you had this you talked about your website and you said go to my website and listen to a video. And if
Hmm.
this video um like sounds like you, then you could send it like, and for me to take action was
Mm.
like really outside of the norm. Like I don't reach out to strangers. I don't do that, right? So you had this video and in it you were talking about women that you help women 35 and older lose weight. And you talked about what you said something like it's not, you have to do it to can you do this till you're 85 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do it till you're 85 years old, then it's not going to work. And I started crying listening to your video because it
Oh,
really spoke to all the struggles that I had been through because I'm like, I don't know how to lose weight. And the point when I started working with you, I remember our very first session because I told my husband, I'm working with a weight loss coach because I can't do this. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. And he was like, okay. And I said to you, I have this fear. I know I have this fear that if I do lose weight, I'm dying. Like something's wrong with me. Like I knew that I wanted to lose weight, but I think unconsciously I knew that like doing the Whole 30 was not the way to do it because I was destroying my body. Fasting, I told you I woke up in the middle of the night starving. I've never been that person. I would go to sleep 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I would sleep all night and I would wake up. Never in my life have I been the person that ate after dinner. I never went into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator and ate at 3 in the morning. Never in my life. I did the fasting. I was in my kitchen probably three
wow.
nights in my
Wow.
refrigerator. I was starving and I was like, I'm fucking up my body. I'm fucking up my body. I can feel me. I can feel I'm doing that to my body.
Yeah.
So when you were like talking about, so that's the first thing I said to you. I I don't know what I'm doing. I've tried everything under this planet, and then that doing it till you're 85 is something I want to do. And I said to you, I'm afraid I'm gonna die if I do when I like I truly I said,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to tell me that if I do this, I'm not gonna die. Like, and you're like, you're not gonna die. But that's how bad it was.
It's a real fear. Yeah.
Because it really, it when you do those diets, it really changes your, I don't know what, your metabolism.
Your perception, your
But
fear.
my
Yeah.
body was reacting like to be starving at 3 in the morning. And for me to
Hmm.
get out of bed and be like, if I don't eat something, like, so like that's what you provided me was like this comfort. Like, you can do this. I'm going to walk you through it. It's going to work. And you can do it till you're 85 years old.
Hmm. So that's how you found me then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Totally random.
Amazing.
Totally random. Because it was like, it was kind of like, so we've been working together
About a year and a
over a
half.
year,
Hmm.
year and a half. But before that, I had been watching you on Instagram for probably a good year
Hmm.
because that was like the tail end of COVID when you're stuck at home and you're like, what's next? What can I need
What can I
something to do.
do?
I need something to watch, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So then we started working together. You found me. We started working together. Then what
Hmm.
happened?
Um, it when after we started, okay, so we started working together, and the first thing you had me do was track my food, and I already had all the food trackers on my phone because I've done that. Like I was tracking my thises and tracking my that's, and I was like, okay. And you had me just track what I was eating. We didn't change anything. Just track what you're eating right now. And we probably did that for 2 or 3 months, maybe. We just
Hmm.
tracked what I was eating. And then you,
And we were working on your protein.
and we were working on, yes, that was my main thing was increasing my protein because I was not eating a lot of protein.
Mm-mm. No, you weren't.
Right. And so we were like practicing and it was improving my protein and tracking what I was eating. And so then we started, then I think you just lowered my calories like 50 calories,
Hmm.
right? And so we lowered them 50 calories and we were still practicing, still practicing. And I started noticing that my clothes were fitting better. And there's this point when you start losing weight and you know you're losing weight, but other people don't see it yet, right? And
Hmm.
so they're kind of looking at you, but they don't say anything. And you kind of like, oh, I'm losing like, and it's like a pound, but I lost a pound, that kind of thing. Um, there's this point when I got to that, I was like, I'm losing weight. This is working, but I'm gonna like, for me, the biggest challenge was to keep my mouth shut because I was like, I'm not talking about this because if I talk about it, then I'm gonna get 800 different opinions and I don't
You
want to hear
should be
anybody.
doing that, and you should be eating fruit and blah, blah,
Why
blah.
aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing
Mm,
that and blah
yeah.
blah blah blah, and it's like, nope, I am not saying a word.
Hmm.
So,
I remember your initial concern too. You said to me, Megan, as long as I don't keep gaining weight, I'm okay because that has been a problem within the last few years, though it keeps going up and I want to stop that. And we did.
yes,
We stopped that during
that
that
stopped
time
immediately.
frame. Hmm.
That stopped immediately. And that's the truth. I said to you, if you can just get my weight to stop going up, I'm happy because, I remember when I started gaining weight. So I was 28, I gained weight. Like when I got married, I went to go, you try on your dress, and then they say, okay, come back 2 weeks before your wedding and we'll do the final fitting. Well, I went back 2 weeks before my wedding, and the lady was like, you're gaining weight. And I turned around and I go, no, I'm not.
Oh no.
Like, because we ordered a size and she's like, you are gaining weight. And that was most of me, like total denial. I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not, but if you're wearing stretchy pants, like you're not going to know. And she goes, yes, you are. You're gaining weight. She said that to me 2 weeks before my wedding.
Wow.
Then I got married and the weight just started going up. My son was born. He was adopted. Um, my son was born and I stopped sleeping, that, whole thing that you go through without the sleeping. And so then I started drinking Starbucks mochas and my weight went up, bam, like it went up like 13 pounds in 2 weeks. But it's like, I was like in denial. Like I will say my whole life of gaining weight, I was absolutely in denial. Um, and then I think when I hit 50, because it would hit these thresholds, my weight would go from like my weight went from 140 to 160, and then from 160 to 173. And they would stay at those places for a really long time. And then once I hit once I started creeping up to 175, 177, then I was like, wait a minute, like it's still, and then it was like in the mid 80s, and I'm like mid 180s, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm gaining weight. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
stories that you tell, because I had my sister would say to me, I don't know why you're so fat, Patty. You don't eat that much.
Oh, oh
That's what a sister
man.
says, right?
Oh.
And I'm like, I know, I don't feel like I eat a lot, but I also knew that I was eating my feelings at the same time, right? So that's what I said to you. I was like, I needed to stop going up because it's
Mhm.
going up and
And
it's
we
not
and we did
stopping.
stop that initially. And the protein, I
Mm-hmm.
think, was a big help with that and just tracking and the awareness with tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
And
about
now I
the,
can say to my husband, if he'll say like at 4 in the afternoon, he wants to go, because I'm an early eater. I like breakfast, I like lunch. Um, he'll say, do you want to go get, orange chicken? And I'll just say, I already ate all my calories. And he just drops it. It's like, okay, I'll find something on my own, that kind of thing. So the changes in me have been tremendous.
mhm. What are some of the changes in you?
Well, I told you the main change that I cannot believe is that I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Like, and I always knew when I drank, it always felt like, stop, this is going to stop all my, like, even if I was cleaning my house or I was making progress doing something, and you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm going to relax with a drink. I knew in my head, this means the day's over and nothing else is going to get done. And I'm going to feel like crap tomorrow. Like I knew all those things and I was doing it anyway. And the sleep, like the alcohol, it it wouldn't let me sleep. And so then it came down to a choice of, do I want to sleep or do I want to drink? And I picked sleep every single time because when
Mhm.
I woke up, I ate healthy. I got a lot of stuff done. Like, I didn't lose 3 days of being groggy so, and I'm not tempted by it at all, which is amazing. Um, I feel very much more, I don't feel scared to go out into the world and, you know, go to a funeral, go to a wedding, go out to lunch. I don't feel like I'm going to lose control. I don't feel like I'm going to be like, oh, look at that, I'm going to have that. I walk in and I eat a lot of protein before I leave the house in the morning. So I know that I'm like, I've got my protein. And so then I'm not going to be like out of control. So then I go to a funeral. I went to a funeral 2 weeks ago and I didn't eat any of the food and I drank water the whole time. And I didn't have any uncomfortableness about doing that. Like a lot of times it's like, oh, if I don't drink, everybody's drinking. Nobody said a word. Nobody
And you
made me.
could have eaten the food if you wanted to. There was no rule that
I
you
could
couldn't.
have.
You just decided not to.
Hmm.
hmm So it
I
sounds
feel I
like
feel like I'm making choices. Choices aren't making me.
it sounds like your food noise is also way low, much lower than it used to be.
It's way, way lower.
hmm Yeah. And did I tell you what you could and could not eat?
Never. Not
So
once.
are you eating things you can eat until you're 85? Yeah.
I had Starburst yesterday. Like, and I don't freak out.
And
Like
you're still
I'm like,
losing weight.
what? And I'm still losing weight because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat that. Yeah, I'm gonna eat
Mhm.
that. And I'm gonna write it down. And I did, there is this like mind game thing where it's like, okay, I'm gonna eat that, but should I write it down? Yeah, I'm gonna write it down because that's what this whole process is about being honest with yourself. It's just being
Mhm.
honest with yourself and not judging it. It's like, okay, like I ate 200 calories worth of Starburst. All right, right? I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to work around it now. And then next day you're like, but I want some more. I want to eat more like chicken or whatever. I'm saving my calories for that. Like I'm doing that and that feels powerful. It doesn't feel like I'm a victim and it doesn't feel like I'm missing out on anything because now I'm like I'm getting what I want.
Mhm.
Getting what I want. My weight's going down. It's stopped going back up. Right now I'm in maintenance and it's staying exactly at 174.9. It might go like up or down like a point, like, but it has not changed at all because I find maintenance easier than for some reason. I don't know. I like it. It feels very empowering.
Good. Good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you're not having to give up any of your favorite foods and you're not have to, go to a restaurant, wonder what the heck am I going to eat? You can actually eat what you want within your calories, looking for your protein, getting some fiber. That's
Hmm.
really the simple stuff. And it
Hmm.
sounds kind of simple to most people, but really that's what works.
It totally works.
hmm What about like how slow the process of losing fat was? Did that affect you at all?
It didn't affect me because I remember saying to you in our first call, I'm like, this is going to take a long time. And you said, why did you say that? And I thought, and I'm like, I don't know why I said it, but I just kind of knew like, because this is not a fad diet. This
hmm
is not a fad diet. It's a lifestyle change. It's becoming aware every single day about every single thing you eat and making choices that you want to make.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I couldn't eat. There was nothing that I didn't not eat. Okay. I mean, I ate it all. Cake, cupcakes, I ate it all. But I wrote it down. It's more of this. I really need to be honest with myself about what I'm doing. And then
hmm
when you're honest with yourself, you can be like, okay, okay, I see that. Okay. And then you're like, do you still want to do that? Be honest with yourself. Like,
hmm
right? That's basically what, yeah. What did you ask me? There was something else I was going to say about that.
Oh, about how slow the fat loss was.
Oh yeah, how slow the fat was. So there was that. And then I didn't want it to happen fast because I wanted it to be permanent. I knew that if I did it fast, I would go right back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I really took my time. And I think for a little while, like my measurements weren't really changing and the scale wasn't really changing, but I could feel like I remember looking at my thigh and I was like, hey, my thigh muscle's bigger. Like they're little nuance changes that
hmm
only you were going to notice and nobody else would notice, but I knew. So it was
hmm
like that was my secret. It's like I have more muscle now. I can see, I can feel it. Like, does the scale change? No. Are my measurements changing yet? No. But I can see I have more muscle.
And you were feeling better. Like when we
Hmm.
first added in the protein, I remember you saying, I feel so much better. I'm not hungry all the time. And,
Yes.
and so, the feeling better, I think sometimes that's a motivation in and of itself to keep going and just sort of trust the process that, hey, I'm going to get
I
there.
started sleeping really deeply.
hmm
When I started eating the protein, I started sleeping really deeply.
So all those kind of subtle changes happen, and I think we're kind of quick to dismiss because we're just looking for fat loss. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Is the scale going down? And we
Exactly.
kind of get so emotionally tied up in that versus being like, am I feeling better? Am I taking care of myself? Am I sleeping better?
Right. Right. that's I knew my body had to repair itself. Like I had a lot of work to do to repair because we're all trained for um instant results.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old, so like me watching Oprah in my late 20s and 30s and her like watching her do OptiFast, like I don't ingest things because I just never did, but it was always about fast results.
Hmm. And that's what it is for most people. They want fast
Hmm.
results.
Hmm.
Yeah. And when you think about it, you had 30 years of dieting, right? So weight doesn't just like one day you gain 30, 40, 50 pounds. It's a slow roll, right? You were in your 50s and you woke up in the 180s, right? But it was a slow roll to get there, right? It's not like overnight, over 6 months, you just like gain that amount of weight, right?
Mm-mm.
So expectation wise is like, hey, it's just going to take some time.
Right.
About
So
mindset wise, I'm curious if there's anything you want to share around like how your mindset changed during this time.
my mindset, it feels very different. I feel like I don't judge myself anymore. I had a lot of negative self-talk, a
Hmm.
lot of judgment. Um, and I think my biggest mindset change is it's like I feel like I know control's a like I don't know if it's a good word or a bad word, but I feel like I'm in control now. Like I can make choices and it's because I'm more honest with myself.
And honest, but not in a degrading way.
Mm-mm. Right.
And you also learn like just having 200 calories of candy one day doesn't like ruin your calorie deficit at all.
No. And that's that to me that do you remember? Okay, so tracking averages, like how we have to
Hmm.
track averages and that's when you learn like you can have like if you go over your calories on one day, it's okay because it's the averages. And I remember saying to you one time, I'm not going to make the spreadsheet anymore. I'm just not going to do it. I don't like it. I'm not doing it. And I'm just going to focus. And you just looked at me and you didn't say anything. And you just looked at me and I said, am I being an asshole? And you went, mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'll track my stuff. I'll make my spreadsheet. And then I just started thinking about it. And it's like the spreadsheet is the key.
Hmm. That's
It's
what all
key.
my clients say. They say when I look at that spreadsheet and I start seeing my averages and I see the big picture, I start to understand that I'm not ruining anything. It's key.
Exactly.
It's key to everything.
Exactly. And then you don't have that, oh God, I ruined it all. Screw
Hmm.
it. I'm out. You know,
I quit. I ruined everything. I
I
can't
don't
do
think I ever
this.
had that
No, you never
working
did
with
have
you.
that. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
But you did
Yeah,
come to the recognition that, hey, I can have a day that's higher in calories and go over my calories, and it really doesn't affect my averages that much, which is essentially what your
exactly.
metabolism cares about. Our metabolisms aren't so rigid that says if you don't hit your calories perfectly day in and day out, you are not going to get results because that's not what happens.
Right. Right.
If you're mostly consistent and you're hitting your averages, you're going to get the results, which means you can be imperfect with all of your
Yep.
actions. I mean, you were imperfect with like your strength training and your steps, even, right? And you're tracking. There were times where you weren't tracking all of the time and not tracking with a food scale exactly perfectly every single day, right? And you still got results.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
And in a
And
way, I
you
was
said,
just,
like, I said, I don't know how to do this if I'm out to dinner. Because in the beginning, I was one of those people that wanted to put the scale in my purse and you're like, don't bring it to the
no.
restaurant. And so I was like, and you're like, just like eyeball it. Something's better than nothing.
Yep.
And that's the truth.
Hmm.
Something like just figure out something is better than nothing,
Hmm.
which is very true.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention you got injured recently too.
Yes.
What happened? Tell us a little bit about the injury.
Oh God. Okay. So I had gotten out of the shower and my husband was laying on the bed and I was at the end of the bed and I was drying off after the shower and we have a duvet on the bed and he had made the bed different than I do. He pulls it all the way up to the wall, which puts tension. It like pulls on the little buttons that hold the duvet together at the end. Well, it created all these little hammocks. And I took my foot off the bed to switch legs, and my heel got stuck in the hammock, like deep in the hammock. And I had one foot way high on the bed and the other one I was standing on, and I just went wham,
Mhm.
like instantaneously. And I have never felt such pain. Like, when you fall and it hurts and you're like, "Oh, that hurt." The pain radiated and kept being painful for
Wow.
probably a solid 3 minutes. And I was just laying on the floor and I said to my husband, "I have never felt this kind of pain before in my life."
Mhm.
And I had to do like crawl, get up on all fours, then do downward dog, then climb up a wall. And I was like that
Oh,
for 3 weeks. My
wow.
brother's a physical therapist, so I called him up. I'm like, "What do I do?" And he gave me all these exercises that I did religiously because I couldn't walk. I couldn't even go upstairs. Like,
Mhm.
you realize how precious your pelvic floor is when you try to go up a stair and you can't because it's totally damaged. Um, so I did like lots of squats, lots of like, he made me, that it's kind of like the boot. I don't know if it's not our country, but the Indian culture, they do that really deep squat, like almost all the way down to the ground, and they sit and
Mhm.
they talk in that and they visit. Like, I had to do that. If I was talking to somebody, I had to get in a deep squat and just stay there just to help my body like recover. So I did that a lot, and I did recover 3 weeks later, but I was on the couch for 2.5 weeks. I couldn't do any steps. I couldn't I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I'm not tracking my calories, but I'm not eating like an asshole. Like, I kept up my habits, but I stopped tracking
Mhm.
just because that's how I fell off. But I didn't gain any weight. Like, I came out of that 3 weeks, I hadn't gained a pound because I kept up my habits, which is exactly what I wanted. Was I just need different habits because what I'm doing is not working.
Yeah. You didn't go into eating like a jerk or eating your emotions because of what happened with your injury.
And I knew, I'm not moving. I cannot eat like a jerk. I have to stay doing my habits. And I didn't eat less. I just kept up my regular habits, and it worked. Like,
Mhm.
and that was smooth. Like, I did not have like any freakouts, or like, that was the smoothest part of it, was not freaking out about not being able to do my regular stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I told you that was a big success,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just being able to eat, like normal with your habits, still focus on your protein, get your fruits and vegetables, right? Don't eat like a jerk, don't eat your feelings. Like that to you, for you, is just a huge success.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was
Mhm.
giant.
And then when you were better, you got back on track, right?
Yep. Went right back to my walking, right back to journaling, everything.
Hmm.
Yep. Tracking. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you learned even during times like that, you can still do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Anything
Mm-hmm.
else you want to share that you learned during this journey?
I'm gonna say the biggest thing, well, there's two things I think. I started keeping track of calories the way I keep track of my bank account. Like, you have to track it all. You have to track it. Like, there's money in there or there's not. And so
Hmm.
I started like doing the calorie thing. That's like, I'm tracking this stuff daily because I really need to know. I need the information. It's super important. Um, and the other big thing was stop taking polls, stop talking to people. Like, if you find something that you want to do, just do it and don't talk to other people about it. And don't open the door for discussion or doubt or any of that. Because I think that was the biggest thing that helped for me, was to have you to, like, we talked once a month and I would tell you about like things, but I knew I always had you to talk to. So I didn't feel the need to talk to anybody else. Like, I'm not talking to anybody but Megan about this.
Hmm.
So that's what I found was really, really important.
Keeping your eyes on your own paper, not getting anybody else's opinion about what you were working on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
do I do find a lot of people when they start talking to their family and friends, right, they start to sabotage them.
100%.
Hmm.
100%. I mean, people that I didn't think would be like, negative were negative. And I was like, whoa, okay, good to know. Good to know. I'm not talking to you about this. And like it just never, I would not talk about it. It's like, no, this is my thing. I'm doing this. I'm focused on it and I'm going to be successful. And
Hmm.
it's fascinating because when you start something like this, you get excited. You're like, guess what? I'm going to do this. And it's exciting. So people talk about stuff that's exciting to them.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is how many times when you do start talking to other people about doing stuff like this, you're triggering them. And then all their crap is like being aimed at you. And then you're like, wait, is this about like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, no, I'm not talking to anybody about
Messes with
anything.
your mind, totally messes with your mind and can totally throw you off the track that you're
Creates
on.
doubt,
Yep. And
makes
it's kind
everything
of,
really foggy.
if you step back, it's so crazy too. It's like here I'm just like talking about getting protein and eating some fiber and paying attention to my portions with my calories, be more mindful about that and getting some steps, lifting some weights, and everybody's questioning me and acting like I'm doing something wrong. That's so weird.
It was shocking how much that happened.
Yeah. It shows you how much diet culture has really impacted, I think, a lot of other people.
100%. I mean, the list that I made, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh yeah, and that one. Like that's all we've been talking about for all these years. We're women. That's what we talk about. I mean,
Hmm.
I had the lady that cuts my hair. She's cut my hair for 30 years. And I said, oh, I started working with a nutritionist. And she's like, well, it hasn't worked yet. Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's not supposed to. That's not what I'm doing. Like, I'm not doing that stuff anymore. This is not supposed to be, you're not supposed to notice it in 2 weeks.
Right, because we have normalized, right? Like
Yes.
I should starve myself for 2 weeks so it looks like I'm losing weight already. We
Yes.
have made that normal, and that's not normal.
Yes.
It's so bizarre.
It's beyond. It's beyond. So that's what I just kind of think to myself. It's okay to be alone. It's actually good to be alone
Hmm.
because look what I'm doing all by myself.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So that said, I guess what would your advice be to other women out there who are probably on the very same struggle as you? What would you tell them?
Hire you. Like, absolutely get a coach. Do get a coach, get off the diet. It's all like at 59, and I can make a list of all these diets that I've done. And I'm like, yeah, none of them, they were all marketing schemes.
Yeah.
They all made people very wealthy. All these people sold books, and it did not change my life at all.
Hmm.
It didn't change my life at all
Hmm. I
because
think
I just kept
you're
doing
on
the
this,
roller
yeah,
coaster.
you're on the roller coaster, the hamster wheel forever. But I
Hmm.
think part of it too is you have to be ready to be honest with
Yeah.
that this does not work.
I was absolutely at a place where I said to myself, you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And if you
Yeah.
want a different result, you have to do something different.
Hmm. That's what it
And
comes
that's
down to. That realization that, hey, these shortcuts don't work. And I also think social media has become just a dumpster fire of bad advice, I feel like. I
it is.
mean, we've got doctors who have their own supplement lines and, buy my supplements. I mean, I see clients who are spending $400 or $500 a month on supplements. I'm like, are these even working? Do you know what these are doing? You can get liver damage from,
Yeah,
supplements if somebody's not actually doing your labs. And people just telling people to do weird things. Don't eat plums because you're in menopause, or don't do
right.
this, or don't do that. I'm like, what? What is this? And people actually believe it because they're so desperate for that help.
Yes, and they're thinking if I take all these supplements, it's going to be a quick fix.
Hmm.
And I don't take any supplements. I take a vitamin in the morning and that's it. Like I don't do any of that I don't do any of it.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about supplements. Mm-mm.
It's all from my diet.
Yeah, it's all from you changing your behaviors and habits. And honestly, you just stop dieting, stop falling into these marketing schemes that are really just quick fixes. You had to like actually step by step work on changing some habits, and you were receptive to that and you were ready to do it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
And I will say that I started feeling better immediately. Like, and then when you started titrating down my number of calories by like 50, like I was like, God, I feel good. Like I was eating too much for my body. My body like didn't like that I was eating so much. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't even, it wasn't even that much.
We didn't cut your calories that much. That was the
Hardly
crazy
at
part.
all. Hardly at all.
I think that's another thing too, a lot of women don't understand is you can get away with losing fat at a slower pace, but a much more manageable pace if your calorie deficit is higher versus trying to go as low as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because that will set you up to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we did for you. We kept your calories at a reasonable amount.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was very easy.
Very easy.
Well, I mean, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't confusing and it wasn't
Yeah.
don't eat. Like, I mean, Jesus, like, what are you going to break your fast with? What? Like, what? I have to think about like that kind, like, I can't just say, okay, what do I want for breakfast? Like,
hmm
timing and breaking your fast with just this kind of food and then eat this food late. You know, I was like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. Like that kind of stuff. You're like, okay, I guess if it's working for everybody else, but is it really? Do we know that? Like, how do we know that?
Well, people will think it works, which is a false, sense of, a false sense of reality, right? It works, but then you can't keep doing it until you're 85, so you can't keep it off. But nobody thinks about that, right? And then your food noise gets louder and louder and louder, and you go down more and more rabbit holes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes. It was very
um,
helpful for me to unfollow every single person.
and you made a choice to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's an
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate, sad reality of where we are right now with social media. There are a lot of people who are marketing to women primarily in menopause and perimenopause
Yep.
and trying to make a lot of money selling you supplements and cortisol pills and I don't know, weighted vests and
Yep.
now it's injecting yourself with peptides. I mean, now we're injecting ourselves with stuff and there's not even any science to back that.
Right.
It's all this stuff and it's like it does not have to be this complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
And I think that's the most freeing part. It's not complicated at all.
hmm
I'm never in confusion. I'm never like, oh God, what time is it? I just go, what do I want to eat? Okay, let's do it. Like, right? There's
hmm
no confusion anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. Good. I'm so happy for you, Patty. I know when you
Thank
first
you.
started, you were so scared and you're like, Megan, that scale can't go up. You had a lot of anxiety around the
I
scale
did.
going up, and I
I
can't have that
did.
go up anymore. It's just got to stay the same. You were really, really worried. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really great to see how far you've come as your coach.
Thank you.
You're
You've been
welcome.
very life-changing for me. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Well, I really appreciate you being here today and sharing your story. All the best to you, okay?
Thank you.
Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, you have to come check out my free weight loss class. It's the 5 steps to lasting weight loss, how hormones impact weight loss, and the truth about lasting weight loss without relying on willpower, workouts, or deprivation. Click the link in the show notes to watch that free class today. And if you are a woman over 35 with 20 to 50 or more pounds to lose, schedule a free weight loss breakthrough session with me after you watch that class. And let's talk about your 20 to 50 or more pound weight loss plan.